Hi everyone, Zach here, and welcome to Lesson 5. This is one of 2 lessons related to our resources. In this video in particular, we'll be focusing on our herb resources. So we'll take what we did in section 2 with our item master and our resource master, and then our food master, and work on our herbs. In the next video, we'll take care of the same, but for our trees, so that we have wood that we can use in other parts of the game. This video has been brought to you by my Patreon sponsors, and in particular has been further supported by Rian, who helped by making our icons that we're using in this series. That said, fire up your project and let's get started. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the editor. And in today's video, we're going to start working on our foliage systems. Now, before we do so, there are a couple of things I want to talk about. One of them is I want to talk about the tiling effect we have for the rock. So I'm just going to hit play here for a moment, and I'm going to move over towards this side of the island because this is where it's a little bit more obvious. And I want you to look at this particular rock outcrop. As I move towards it, you can notice when we hit that transition point. So right about there, you can see that's happening. And we will address that so we can make it a bit better so that doesn't happen in the future. The other thing I want to point out is the other culling issue we have with our LODs. Is, okay, you can see that hill over there where there's no grass showing on it, and back over there. And as we move towards it, it just starts springing in. We will be accounting for that down the road. Don't worry about it. The other thing I want to talk about is something I mentioned earlier on. I don't know why plugins is open. Sorry about that. Go to unlit, because it's going to be easier to see, and go under the water. And as you move around, for some reason, despite having removed all the white from the map, we have grass under here. So the way we can resolve this, instead of painting other layers on, is you select your grass layer. We're going to up the brush size. We're going to lower the fall off, and we're just going to hold the shift key down, and then we're going to just click. So what a shift key does in this case is it erases. So we're erasing the grass textures that are for some reason coming down to this area. And it should be on 3 of the 4 sides of the island. See? I thought I had gotten all of these when I had set the maps up, but clearly I hadn't. So just go ahead. Sorry. Make sure to release a shift key, the shift key after you've released the mouse button. Otherwise, you have what happened to me will happen to you. I'm not sure what the heck is going on with these ones. I can't get rid of them. I'm going to lower my brush size a bit for this one. Another trick for this is if you can't get rid of them, just increase the brush size a little bit or shrink a little bit. I'm going to just paint some rock in this area. And then I'm going to come back in and I'll paint some mud back in. There we go. Switch back to the grass and go to the other side of the island. And again, holding the shift key down, just scrub through that area and repeat for all the grass underneath here. And if you want to leave the grass in, fair enough, but it doesn't look like underwater sort of grass, so that can be a bit problematic. And we're back at the start of the island, mostly what I consider the start, which is that little rock there. All right, so after we've done that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to setting up our herb items or herb items. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in some icons. And these icons were made by a community member free of charge named Rian. And she's providing you to use these in your projects. You can find them in the asset downloads. It's everything we looked at previously minus a headlamp, which I think is the only one I've done for these. So we're going to go to our item icons once I'm done saving apparently. Under textures, item icons. And then I'm going to select all of these. Select all of these, minus a headlamp because we already have it imported. Now I'm going to drag them in. And it'll start importing them. Now I'm going to right click them, and I'm going to go to my asset actions, my bulk edit via property matrix, and bring that into the correct window. I am going to select all of them, and I am going to go to texture, question mark? Nope, not texture, compression. And in compression, I am going to, or not compression, I always forget where this is located. It's texture group. That's what I'm looking for, texture group, which I can never remember where it's at. So, texture group. We are going to go there, and we're going to go to UI. Do not change this. We should have no bitmaps for these. Go ahead and save all. It'll save what's in here. And then you can go back to your map, or to your main editor, and you'll see that they've all been updated. We have our lovely backgrounds. We might not need the axes. I think these are old versions. Let me just double check. Yeah, these are old versions. We might not be using these. In fact, actually what we're going to do is we'll leave these in here. You don't need all of them. We need the herbs for today. We'll need the wood down the road, but you can leave the rest in for what we're going to work on. So, that said, let's go to our core. Let's go to actors, and we're going to go to items. In items, we're going to create 3 main herb groups, and we can create variations on those. So let's go to resources, food. We have our herb master here, which remember is an abstract class. We're going to create a child of this, and I'm going to call the child our BP herb or herb small 01. All right, let's go ahead and open that up, bring it into the correct window. And in herb 01, let's go through our increase amount. This is how much food or how much hunger it reduces or gives us, I guess. It's going to be 2.5 for me. It's consumable, it's harvestable, it is stackable, and the item name will be sugary herb. It will have the T herb 0 icon. And as for my text, I'm just going to delete this first line here and put in a small herb native to the island, a simple white flower that seems to produce large quantities of sugar. I'll take the weight, which will go into line 3. I'm going to just do, actually I'm going to do food value line 3, so we can give information to the player. So this will be food value 2.5, and that is our increase amount. And our weight will go down here, and our weight will be 0.5 pounds, which is a fairly heavy herb actually, but I'll put a space there so we can have that, or leave that as an empty space. For my increase amount, sorry, my item weight, it'll be 0.05. It will be eat, our stack amount will be 2.5, and this will be small herb 01. Actually, I might rename this. I might actually change this to have a different name. Our base amount will be 5, by the way, for this one. That's for when we randomly add them onto our map. So that should take care of that. We will leave everything else as default for now. Let's go to our event graph just to make sure everything else in here is right. It is. So that's fine. Our construction script. I'm really tempted to actually rename this, and I think I'm going to. I'm going to make this, yeah, I'm going to rename this one. This is going to be our small herb master. We're actually going to create children of this. We're going to have variants of our small herb, and we will make this an abstract class as well. So generate abstract class, compile, save. All right, and then we're going to create. So again, we can't drag this onto our map. We're going to create 3 children of this. So the first one will be herb, small herb 01, 02, and not 03 if you're trying to get ahead of me. And then it'll be small herb, small herb random. So let's take care of herb 01 and 02 real quick. So in 01, what we're going to do is select our item mesh, and we are going to use the yarrow plant we have. So it's SM yarrow. And And we're going to use the first one. And there we go. We can see that there's a plant in there. We can see that the collision is a bit off, so we need to adjust it. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good camera angle, and the camera speeds are causing issues. So let's go back to our herb here. Let's go to adjust collision offset. And I'm going to just change this to 0.75 as well for a moment. So leave that at 0.5. Kind of feel like the X is off a bit. I'm just going to go to 1 on that, and then 1 on this as well. It's a bit long in the Y, actually. The Y is a bit off. So 0.5 in the Y. You know what we're going to do? We're going to set the X to 1.5, so it's a bit wider. And then we'll do 0.75 on the Y. There we go. So that's a small herb 1. Let's go ahead and test that. Drop it onto the island. We can see it's there. I'm going to hit the N key so it comes down to the ground. And I'm going to hit play real quick. And there it is. So it's a bit hovering above the ground a little bit. I'm not happy with that. Sorry, give me 1 second. Now, unfortunately, the item is a bit bigger than the ground itself, so that's something we'll have to be mindful of as we place them. But we can place it. We can pick it up. We picked up 5, so it is our base amount. What I want to do now is just make sure that is firing correctly, so I'm going to change the scale to 2 by 2 by 2. So we have a massive plant. And just make sure that it's not giving me more than 5. It is, so we need to change one thing on the default here real quick. We need to go back into our small herb, and was spawned, we're going to set to false on this. All right, drop it into there. Again, we're going to set this to 2 by 2 by 2. Hit play. I don't actually need to hit play. I could have just selected the item again. Pick it up, and it's 1. So base amount is for when we are spawned in. Go ahead and save this. We're going to then open up small herb 2. We're going to select this. It will be... Make sure you set to small herb 01. Doesn't really matter, I guess, because it's getting everything from the master, but it's just easier to do it this way. Here, make sure it's small herb 02. Our static mesh will be our SM Yarrow 3. And again, we're going to want to adjust that collision offset, or remove the collision offset. Again, base amount will be 5. You know, probably should do that in the item master now that I'm thinking about that. It should be, oh, item amount should be 1. Always have that one as 1, sorry. I'm actually kind of happy with the collision around that. It fits nicely. That's actually pretty good. So again, let's just go ahead and test it. Drop it onto the island. I'm going to make a duplicate version of this that I'll set to 2 by 2 by 2. So hopefully this should give me just 1 each because they aren't spawned in. I've placed them in the world. So there's 1. There's 2. I have 2 in my inventory. So we're good to go with those. Apparently I left the other one in there and I didn't realize. So that is our main small herb. Now I'll take care of the random. And the random, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the construction script here. We're going to break this just for a moment. And we are going to do our static mesh, or item mesh, set static mesh. And we will then do a select node off this new mesh. So do select with the golden trident. It's not really a trident, but I'm going to call it that. And we will do SM Yarrow and SM Yarrow 3. We will do a random integer in range. And our range will be 0 to 1. And we'll plug that into there. Now, let's go back to our item master for a moment here. I believe it's in our item master. It is. We're going to want to actually, well, what we're going to do actually, sorry, I don't need to do anything in here. I'm completely mistaken. We have this custom collision. So if I go back to our random here and just pull off and do custom collision, we have set custom collision. We are going to do select node again, and we'll use the same value. It should return the same value here. And we'll do is make a test of this. Then we'll go into the parent. And our custom collision will be 1.5, 0.75, 0.5. So again, that's 1.5, 0.75, 0.5. So 1.5, 0.75, 0.5. And then the second one will be 0.75, 0.75, 0.5. So 0.75, 0.75, 0.5. And we can test this real quick by just grabbing our random and dropping it into the world. And then getting perplexed why it isn't working. Okay. I'm gonna hit play here real quick and make sure it spawns in. Alright, it is spawning in. And for some reason, it normally should show it to us right away. But there's the first one. And as we move it, you can see it's changing. And we're getting the correct collision boxes, except for the offset needs to be selected for our random as well. There we go. And as you can see, as we move it, it gives us the correct offset. So that is our small herb. Let's go ahead and take care of the medium herb next. So again, we're going to create 3, and it's just going to be the same sort of setup we just did a moment ago. So we'll go to our herb master. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do masters in here so that we have them separate from the items we're actually going to place into the world. So it's our food master, our herb master, our meat master. Those can all go in there. And then we'll take the herb master again, create a child, and this will be BP herb medium master. I guess I should move the small herb master in there as well. There we go. And let's open up our medium herb master. And for this one, what we're going to do is we are going to select our item details. Our increase amount will be 5. It's consumable, it's harvestable, it's stackable. This is going to be our leafy herb. It will be T herb 1. And we will use the text, a small leafy herb that smells similar to elderflower. Though unlike elderflower, it seems to reduce hunger pains and is somewhat filling. No offense to anyone who likes elderflower. Not sure what just happened there, but okay. The food value, I'm actually going to double check if I had a capital V on that. I did, is 5. We're actually going to mark it as 5.0. And our weight will be 0.75 lb. Again, I'm going to double check my capitalization, so I'm saying similar across is lowercase in my other version. I'll say lowercase here. lb. Our item weight will be 0.75. Consume text is eat. Max amount is 15. It should be our medium herb master. And our base amount is also 5. Okay, let's compile and save that. Let's then create 3 children of this. So we'll do medium herb 01. Medium herb 02. And again, random. All right, let's take these 3, move them up to the food folder there, and let's open them up and get to work on them. So let's go to our medium 01, and let's select our class, and this is medium 01. Let's go to item mesh. Our item mesh will be the heather. So we have two heathers, by the way. So it's SM heather. And we're going to use clumps. Actually, I'm going to just double check before we do this. Is there a difference between clumps and the other one? We have pink variant. And technically we have three. We have world populate, but we're going to do... The variants are really based on the meshes more than anything, I guess. But we're going to start with the pink one here. Looks like we do need to adjust the collision offset on this one. So let's find our collision offset in our herb master. We'll adjust collision offset. We'll default that to false. And I'm actually, I do want to expand the collision box out a bit. Put that to 1. And also put this to 1 as well. All right, so we 0.8. There we go. I think that is a good blend around it. Let's go ahead and test this out. Drop that into the world. Also go back to your herb master or medium master. Make sure that this is generate abstract class. Hit play. And let's see if this works. Pick that up. There we go. We can eat it. We see the weight changes, so that is working. We didn't test eating the other one, I realize. Okay, so let's repeat what we've done for the last. Let's repeat this for the second one. And again, all we're doing really is we're duplicating everything over. So it's going to be 0.8, 1.5 for our collision. We are adjusting the collision offset. We are defaulting that to false for the was spawned. Base amount is 5 in both. Do we change anything else? Yes, we need to change the item class to herb master 02. And in this case, we are going to do the SM Yarrow. Sorry, not SM Yarrow. SM Heather. We'll do the world comp population because that does give us the brown one by default. And I am fine with the collision box as is. So, feel free to test it. It should work. I'm really going to skip that one for this one, and I'm going to go on to the random. And I'm going to open up our small herb random here and literally just duplicate these nodes. So I'm going to Control-C, copy them, go to my medium random, go to my construction script, break the parent call there. And in this case, I am going to set the herbs to SM Heather, clumps, SM Heather, world populate. And I'm going to set this to, 0.8, 1.5. So 0.8, 1.5. And then plug the parent back in. And then select the herb again, make sure we have it on random. Actually, we could do is set the class based on what it comes out here as well, if you really felt like it. We might talk about doing that down the road. I haven't explored doing that because I'm approaching this from a very different method than I had for my earlier version. We do want to adjust collision offset. We'll get rid of the was spawned. These ones will always be never spawned. These ones we do need to place by hand. That's the wrong one. Let's grab the herb medium random. As you see, I move it. We're getting the correct collision boxes and all that fun stuff. So that one's taken care of. And next we have our large herb. Now, we only have one variant we're going to make of this, so we're fine not having to make a whole bunch of these. So we're going to make herb master, create child, and those will be large herb. Oh, that's medium. I just delete that. Where is my herb master? And we're actually just going to create a herb large 01. If we need to reparent this later on, we can and create a large herb master. But as I said, this only has one variant, so I don't really feel the need to make a master for the large herb. Let's open that up. Our static mesh for this one will be our buttercup. So I'm going to search for SM underscore buttercup patch 01. And I mean, there are some other ones, but we're not going to worry about the no WPO. We want the WPO. So again, it looks like we're going to need to adjust the collision offsets a bit. So let's go back here, open this up, adjust collision offset, Get rid of the was spawn for this one for now. And honestly, I'm not so bothered that a few of them are outside the collision area. I'm fine with how this is set up. For our increase amount, it will be 7.5. It's consumable. This will be our carrot-like vegetable. And that's just because T herb 2 looks like a carrot. And I'm going to say that this is a fibrous herb native to the island. Only a small yellow flower protrudes from the ground when dug out. There is a carrot-like vegetable. Too bad it doesn't taste or smell like a carrot. Oddly filling. There we go. Get rid of line 2 from there. Line 3 will be our food value, which will be 7.5. And then line 4 is is weight, and it will be 1 pound. And we'll have a max stack amount of 10. Base amount will be 1 for this one. Yeah. These are going to be a bit rarer. So in terms of our construction script, we have nothing we need to do for this one, and we have our third herb. So let's go ahead and put our large herb in. Make sure that actually loads in correctly. I should have hit play from closer to the ground, but whatever. We'll fall for a second. And harvest carrot-like vegetable. Open that up. All right, so clearly the mistake I made is I did not set the class correctly. Right there. This should be our large. Oh, sorry, undo that. That's the wrong thing. Large herb. This should be our large 01. Go ahead and hit play. All right. Pick that up. There we go. And if I eat it, it works. Awesome. All right. So now that we've set up our herbs, the next thing we're going to do in the next video is do the same for our trees. And then after that, we're going to take care of a procedural generator that we'll create. But we now are starting to create the items that will break up the landscape a bit more, give us a bit of variety. You know, having something in there to give it color will be nice. We'll be able to rotate it with our placement tools so that it fits where we have it on the ground. We'll be able to randomize the amount we have. You might want to come through and smooth out some of the areas as well. Again, don't worry too much about the lighting or the call distance. We'll take care of that in later videos. But that takes us through what we need to do for this video. Go ahead and continue to clean up your island between videos. Make it feel a bit more nice. Now I've added grass in here because it looked a little bit barren. I've added a bit of rock in as well. I've smoothed it out a bit more. You know, really you have to go through the island and I do mean literally walk over every inch of this island in character. You know, if you need to unconnect your stamina timer and your hunger timer so that you don't have to worry about that, and just see what it's like to walk along the island and see what it feels like. See if there's spots that look weird or barren. Like I added grass in here actually. All of this is grass I added in on this side because it was utterly barren all the way down. There's another side where I did the same where it was again utterly barren, so I added grass in to give it some character. I added some rock. This as well was one of the spots. There was no grass on parts of this. So I added grass in the middle and then did rock along the side to break it up and give it a different look. So go ahead and go through this, set it up to you're happy with it. And once that is done, you know, keep looking at it, keep exploring. Make sure it feels right. All right, all of that said, this video and this series have been brought to you by Patreon sponsors like Rian, who again did our icon. So shout out to her and thanks to her for all her help getting this set up. To Hanas, Quad Menson, Connor, 1Vault10, and Galois. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button down below. If you want to be here when we set up our tree resources, make sure to hit the subscribe and notify icon. And if you want to be here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial and hope that you have a wonderful day.